Hello everyone, Siege Link here, and I'm back with another episode of Starcraft 2, and I'm going to be showing off 5 total replays here. So I have played for multiple years in Starcraft 2, and I've never touched the European or Asian server. And I just recently did when I was playing with a friend, and then I did some ladder games, and I won 5 in a row. Now, you're when you're like me and you're Diamond 3 on NA, you're bound to win the first one or two easily because you're going to be facing someone like Gold because they don't know your rank. But once you win one or two people, they're going to kind of properly put you against proper players. And then those are really going to determine where you fall. So, funnily enough, I'm facing someone with the same spelling of Link right here. Link, all lowercase. And yeah, he's in Gold League. And I was going to I was not debating on kind of what to record. I was thinking of recording Empire Earth, but I would have only been able to do one video. I had a lot less time than I thought I would because my parents were supposed to be gone all of yesterday and coming back later today, but my mom had to come home because she was sick, and I never had a good recording environment. Right now, she's upstairs sleeping, so uh, I decided to record something so that I actually have something for the weekend. I'm going to be recording ideally 6 games over this week because I'm going to be playing both my last JSL matches against Hyde and the Zergbert. Even though I hadn't heard from Hyde and I haven't seen him online much, so it's a little bit worrying. But I was actually really busy this weekend because I have a big collection. Well, actually, not even that big collection. I have like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 cards of Magic the Gathering cards, and I've sorted it like little by little over the course of like I don't even know, like 6-7 years, and it's never been properly sorted. So whenever I try to look for a card, it's just a nightmare. And I basically came to the conclusion, okay, it's been too long. I am going to sit down and organize all of it at once. And yesterday I spent about 3.5 hours, and it's about 80% done. And I almost didn't record this. I was actually sitting down. I was like, okay, I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna finish this. But then I was like, oh no, my mom's sleeping. This is the one chance I have to actually record something. And this guy delayed his hatch. He went pool first. And as a result, I'm able to get an eBay, so he's gonna take the third base location. So his lings were able to get in. And for those of you who wonder why I don't close that supply depot and prevent something like this from happening, is because the SCV, like 50 or often for me over 50% of the time, will get stuck on the other side. Still not too bad though. 6 workers killed for 6 lings. That's honestly a good trade for me. I still has gas. The reason I do this is because I eBay blocked him, and this will basically prevent him from doing any like one base all in. He can't make Banes or can't make Roaches, or at least that many of them. And I'm going for because I'm kind of expect to face a gold player. Well, actually, I saw that I was facing a gold player. Because of that, I decided to go for just straight up Mass Reaper, which isn't really good. But I was like, you know what? If he's in Gold League, maybe there's a less likelihood of him knowing how to deal with it properly. Even though I have faced people way back in Gold League that did know how to deal with it. In terms of knowing how to deal with Reapers, that's not like it doesn't depend on your league in that regard. Now, sadly, the Reapers came in 2 different directions, so one Reaper ended up dying because he didn't follow the other Reapers, which is annoying. But he has no queen here. He's making 2 queens, but they're late. Yeah, and that's not really what you should do here. He's lucky I used my grenades first, because if I knew he was going to do that, I was just going to hold my grenades in. I was barely able to get it. But I'm able to kill his queen. So I think he's killed 2 Reapers so far. Just killed 3 Reapers, okay. He's killed 3 Reapers, and I've killed a good chunk of Lings, and I think 2 Queens? I know it's at least 1 Queen. Yeah, I think 1 Queen. It's not, no, at this point he's likely going to have speed. And 6 Reapers is not enough to deal with like 10 to 20 speedlings, but he foolishly didn't actually make that many of them. was basically just trying to bait him into running so I could use my grenades. Now, that to me was really weird. When I shot at his units and they didn't come for me, that means he had them in hold position. And my suspicions were correct. This guy does not know how to deal with Reapers. And at this point, I've stopped making them. Because now I've got a decent chunk. I've got enough that I can take on Massling. I've got a 8. Not quite the ideal number. You want double digits, or at least 9. But given how bad his micro has been, and the fact that he's not making too many lings, which is a big mistake on his part, also splitting them up is also the worst thing you want to do. He's just not using it properly, not spending his money properly, and as a result, he's losing. So I kill all those queens, another one pops. And now this is the big thing. This is why you don't do this, bro. Look at how much damage these grenades are doing. Yeah, he loses all of his drones in that one move, and he concedes because of it. He was trying to go for roaches, but he kept investing into queens, into lings, even though he was going roaches, which is just a terrible idea. So I'm able to just straight up kill him because he was very indecisive that game. And here's the second game. Now, other than that first game, I don't remember all the games perfectly. I remember the first and the last one perfectly, pretty much. This one I'll definitely remember, like, probably like 3 to 4 minutes in. Was this a cannon rush? Yeah, okay, I remember this game. So he was a cannon rushing me this game. So the good thing is I'm able to block him here. I surround his probe. And I see no base, and I'm expecting a forge. Yeah, and I see a forge. And I decide to pretty much instantly go back and build an eBay. So that way it can't transition off of the cannon rush unless I see it. And I've got some cannons on the high ground, and this is something I didn't know, but you can actually repair this depot from this position enough so it won't die. Because they can reach the first 2 SCVs, but they can't do the other 2. And with this probe attacking it, 2 cannons attacking it, it's being repaired. Well, it's actually being killed a tiny, tiny bit quicker than it's actually being repaired. So with the Marine, I'm able to easily defend it. So now he needs to get a Zealot up. So I know he's transitioning here, but quite frankly, I don't really care. I'm just making 1 Marine at a time. And I decided to get 2 Reapers, because most of the time with cannon rushes, even if they transition back behind it, they're usually not going to have much. So 2 Reapers, I'm thinking could just kill everything here. I need that second gas so I could be able to get a siege tank, because you can survive against cannon rush, but you can't push a cannon rush back unless you have a siege tank. Building 2 gates, but he's not chronoing warp gate, and that's a big problem because these gates are basically useless on the frontal attack. They've got to move the zealots or stalkers all the way around. And currently he's got a zealot back at home, and he's making 1 stalker across the map, not at home. So these Reapers will easily be able to do massive damage at equal work supply. And now he's also not mining, so he can't build cannons, zealots, or stalkers. And I'm able to kill the zealot. And I've got enough Marines that if he walks up the ramp, I should easily be able to kill him. The problem is he's not actually A-moving over here. Because if I'm focusing so much, you know, the longer he waits, the better it gets for me across the map. is able to get a Stalker out. I decide, you know what? I'm gonna sacrifice my Reapers to get as many kills as I can. So I get another kill there. I know his units are high health enough that I'm not gonna be able to get any more. And I get 17 workers killed total. Now with all the Marines at the top of my ramp, one Stalker and one Zealot isn't gonna do anything. He doesn't even have any shield batteries here. And that's really hurting him a lot here. Now, theoretically, his Marines should be able, or his Stalker can outrange my Marines, but not because of the ramp. He actually can't shoot up, because he doesn't actually have vision of the ramp. Getting double barracks up, getting the siege tank up, M supply blocked. Yeah, so I decided to put my Reaper here, so if he ever moves guys over here, then I'll be able to see them. I scan on the bottom to see the exact setup. I see no shield batteries, 2 cannons and 1 gate, so I know if I get a siege tank out, it's pretty much, the push is over, and I know it's basically GG at that point because of how many probes I killed with the Reaper. Now I am actually still able to shoot the cannons from the high ground, and he has to sacrifice units to stop me from getting the high ground advantage. But yeah, a cannon just never kills a siege tank. At least one, that is. With no shield battery as well. So I scan, make sure there's no, like, Stargate or DTs I'd have to worry about. Honestly, in this scenario, I think it would be good for me to get in the habit of just building a blind eBay and turret every single time, so if he does go Stargate or DTs, it covers both of them. And actually, with that pylon dying, he actually doesn't even have enough, he can't even make units, and he's at just 3 Stalkers. Luckily for him, my army alone will not quite be enough just yet, because I don't have Stimpack. And, well, actually, just finished it. Just about to finish, but once I get Stimpack and 2 medevacs, that will be enough. I scan, still see no Nexus. So even though we're both on one base for a while, because I was able to kill so many probes, I'm ahead, and he's still just making probe after probe. And that's kind of what you have to do in this scenario. If I were him, I probably would just park all of my Stalkers, like, right here, and just hope that I go for a drop, and that he's able to kill, like, all my medevacs without losing, like, anything. Because that's, like, the one... At this point, you have to kind of concede that you're so far behind, you need a big mistake from your opponent to win the game. And not scanning, just flying into Stalkers is one of those mistakes. And he didn't do that. He did notice this in time, but, I mean, I'm sure he's able to kill a tank, but I've got to step by out here. Even brought my Reaper along for a little extra firepower. And he still didn't build a Nexus. And, you know, that was kind of smart by him, because, you know, there's no real reason to build on the Nexus when you're so low probes anyways. Even do some dropship micro here to save some units. I dropped again because I really want that Stalker kill. Lost Marine and did get the Stalker kill, so that was very good for me. But the big thing is keep both medevacs alive. I'm making nothing but units back at home. We've got double refinery coming up. I've got 6 barracks, double eBay, and I could even start 1-1 upgrades here. He does have a forge, and he is getting +1 shields, and does apparently have +1 weapons, but I mean, it's quite frankly a waste of money. I mean, upgrades are, you know, kind of useless when you just have, like, 5 units. You know, upgrades do, like, +1 damage. Okay, like, per shot. That's not much. It only matters, like, when you have, like, at least a decent chunk of units. When you have this few units, +1 weapons means pretty much nothing. So I scanned and saw the natural base. And even if he is somehow, some way able to hold this, you know, it's 1 base to 2 base. I scan the top, making sure there's nothing funny going on. He doesn't even force field, he uses a Guardian Shield. And I just stem up and kill everything. And that's GG. So long, drawn-out cannon rush ends up in a win for me. There's one TVP I have in my mind on this map, but I don't think it's the one I'm thinking of, because I feel like that happened before this. Okay, I do remember that. He did delay my second barracks a little bit because he was attacking my CVs. So I eBay block him, and I think I might vaguely know what this game is. So I went CC 6 Reapers. I've actually been changing up this build a little bit here and there depending on what my opponents are doing. And 6 Reapers can sometimes be better if you expect your opponent's going to go for a Nexus after they kill the eBay. And that's what he did. The reason for this is because if they plan to go for a 1-base all-in, they can't move all their units. They have to keep like 2 or 3 stalkers across the map. But if you have 6 Reapers, they have to keep like 5 stalkers across the map. Which they can do somewhat easily when you're building nothing but Reapers and you're not getting a factory up because of it. But they're just going to have more units than you in time. Their production is going to be a little bit better. But if you expect that they're going to build a Nexus, building 6 Reapers basically prevents them from doing any sort of 2-base push, because it forces their units to stay at their base. Now, he has a shield battery here, which is kind of lucky for him, because the Zealot most definitely would be dead if it wasn't for that shield battery. So I was ultimately able to kill that Zealot, get that Stalker pretty low as well, and not lose any Reapers. Now, he does have an Observer, and that actually would be of a very big help to him if he just put it in Observer mode right here. And he actually decides to do kind of a mini wall off here, but it's not that good of a wall off versus Reapers, because I don't think he was actually planning to do a wall off versus Reapers at first. So barely not able to get that Reaper, so I ended up losing 1 Reaper, but I did get 3 kills, and would have been able to kill a lot more if I didn't A-move up that ramp. That was a bit of a mistake on my part. So I've got 2-1-1, I'm now building 2 more barracks. I've got an eBay in case I saw a Sargave or DP Shrine. But I saw a Robo, so I know I'm not going to be dealing with that. I wanted to make sure he didn't have any thirds, so we were equal on bases. And I know with me jumping up multiple times, he probably expects me to do it again. So I decided, you know what, let me go around 4 kills and just jump out. And lose 1 Reaper. And I end up losing another one because he actually chases pretty far. Didn't expect him to chase so far, but I see he has a big wall off here and he keeps making more units, so I'm definitely expecting some sort of big push here. And I haven't really been making too many units. I've been focusing more on upgrades and just getting production up. And I went for a Hellion because I was like, you know what, might as well just get a Hellion. You know, because I've got a bunch of minerals, not too much gas just yet, a little tight on gas. And I decided to get a Hellion because if I A-move and do a big, like, siege the enemy push, then what the Hellion does is it kind of goes ahead and does a scout. So my army can't get caught off guard. Like, say his army was right here, I'm not just going to walk right into it. Instead, they're going to walk into the Hellion. So it is actually kind of useful. But luckily for him, I think he put the Observer in position just in time to see this. He used the Hellion to scout their base location, but the Observer was in place just in time. And he was able to get a pretty good trade here. I decided to actually just move my units away, and surprisingly he didn't actually go for me. I moved commanded back over here, and as a result, they went through this area. I scan see a double forge in Twilight, so I realize he's actually going very greedy on 2 bases. He's just gonna kind of play campy and go up to the storm. So I get a ghost cannon me up. I don't like using ghosts, they're kind of annoying to use. But this was actually this wasn't an unranked team, this is ranked. But, oh yeah, okay, I remember what this game was now. So this right here, I do a double drop, And this completely destroyed him. So he's got units on the third base location here. But the thing is, he's not even trying to build a third base, so there's absolutely no reason he should have his units here. So I do the classic double drop thing, where you drop here, and then you wait a little bit, and then you drop into the natural base. Because what this does is it will pull other units this way, they'll focus on this drop, and then you drop the other way. And this is even better, because his units were at the third. He still goes into the main, despite units being in his natural. I boost away, don't lose anything because he doesn't have blink. I kill both his defensive cannons, and kill tons of workers, and lose almost nothing. 31 workers killed this game, and most of it was from those medevacs. It's now 48 workers to 17. I ended up parking his units there, so I lose that for nothing. But I'm like, you know what? If you're going to park units there, then I can boost in here, and there's going to be no resistance. He ends up using a recall, and I'm like, you know what? Go ahead, use your recall. Even if I lose this medevac, I'm still way ahead. Look at this army. Making 4 medevacs at once. This is probably one of my favorite map pools, like, ever, but if there's one thing I don't like about this map pool, it's trying to build buildings in the main base. There's a lot of, like, diagonal areas like this, which are very annoying for Terran add-ons, because a lot of the time they can, where you put them, they can block your own units. I've got 5 medevacs, 3 tanks, and I'm like, do you really not have a third? It's 11 minutes, and I saw Templar, Archive, and Robo. And I decided to build double sensor tower, build a base here. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna stay on 2 bases with just gateways, even though you made a Robo and made a Twilight, and you're boost trying to get up to Storm, you know, that's just kind of a waste, bro. I ended up seeing that observer. No, he did have Storm here. He was able to get it in time. And his Zealots blocked me a little bit. But, I mean, he's not focusing on my tanks. I lift a few units up in the medevac. Drop him again, and he's just walking straight into 3 tanks. I mean, even if I didn't have bio, he wasn't able to deal with these tanks, because he had no Stargate units, no Robo units. He just had a few Templar. I mean, he was hoping that those Templar would kill everything, which they did, and he still loses. And I'm just A-moving pretty much all my guys, including Ghosts, across the map. I move my tanks further up, and EGGs. I think the biggest misplay he made that game was he had his units at the third base for no reason whatsoever. Even if he was building a third base location there, which he wasn't, it wouldn't have even been that smart of a move. Because of that, I kill, like, what was that, like 20 to 30 workers with 2 medevacs worth of units and don't lose either medevac. That one move put me way ahead supply-wise. And he made Robo, made just observers, made Templar, and was basically saying, if I can get to Storm, I can easily kill him. I'll just kill every single unit, and that's my Hail Mary. And guess what? Those Storms did kill every unit. They killed, like, what, 40 supply worth of bio? And he still lost. Now, I decided to do the Marauder proxy against Terran, and to my joy, he builds a command center. What that means, the factory is going to be too delayed to defend this. The Marauder proxy wins about, I would say, 95% of the time against someone who goes CC first. If they go CC before factory, you pretty much can't lose. Because they're not going to have a siege tank in time, and they're not going to have a cyclone in time. And he actually decided to make 2 Hellions at once, one of which got stuck on the other side of the map. And he actually was going to go into battle mech here. He was getting the second factory very early, and that's why he went CC first, but that's wicked greedy in TVT. TVT early on is a very aggressive matchup. You never go CC first. You go CC before factory, you deserve to lose. You deserve to get proxy, you deserve to lose to that. chasing way too far with these units. And he's trying to get a tank up. Kill a tech lab so he can't get any more. And honestly, I have so many Marauders, and that was so far away, I probably actually could have killed the factory before the tank died. But his pull, he was pulling to attack my Marauders, not even to repair the siege tank. And even if he did, that that pull was super late. And TGG's. Honestly, there's nothing more satisfying than beating people who go CC first with a proxy. Especially if they get salty afterwards. And this is my last game in my first 5 ladder games to determine my rank. Funnily enough, I was actually playing with a friend in 2v2, which I mentioned, and I ended up getting Diamond 2 teams, but I ended up getting Diamond 3, which is my same rank in NA, in 1v1. So I'm expecting a cannon rush here, because I don't see a base here. And he's really kind of dodging that probe around, wanting to make sure it doesn't get killed, but he actually wasn't going for that. Wasn't paying attention to this though, and as a result, I was able to get the evade pretty far from finishing. So he's definitely not going to be able to pull probes and kill that. Although just having this guy stand here isn't good. I mean, go back and mine, or at least do a little bit of damage to that. Don't just stand there. And there it goes. So more people have been doing one base all-ins in response to this, which is one of the reasons I like to stay on. I often like to stay on one base after I go for the Reapers. Now that was, I believe, just a probe, considering it died pretty quick. Yeah, that was just a probe. Now, did he pay attention to it?
Your probes are under attack.
I don't think he saw the Reapers, honestly. Now he's got Stalkers, and he's not building a base. There's no base here, there's no eBay here. So he's kind of showing his hand that he's going for a one base all-in, but he's banked up so much money. He really needs to put a Nexus down somewhere, or he needs to build, like, 5 gates. And he decides to build in an odd location, hoping I don't find it. And I didn't find it for a short chunk of time. Now, I didn't actually click on that. So, yeah, faked the Stargate. And he was trying to build a robo, but it was a misclick. Now, Reapers will beat Stalkers if you have 3 Reapers for every Stalker the opponent has. So he has to retreat to a shield battery. And I actually don't lose a Reaper there, which is very good. And even though these Reapers aren't getting damage, just making it so he can't expand without me seeing it is big. And I moves all of his Stalkers down here. So now I can jump up with more Reapers. A bit of a misrally there. Getting a starport, getting another barracks, and getting some tanks. I decided to ultimately sacrifice my Reapers to get as many probes as I can. Not that many, but it was ultimately a good move because I was correct in guessing he was going for a one base all-in. Even though he did sneak a Nexus here, he wasn't actually really planning on using it. No, the thing that was funny in this game is that he was very indecisive. First of all, Robo, don't put there. That was an idiotic move. He was kind of faking that he was going for a one-base play. He wanted to push with his Stalkers, and he's getting Blink, but at the same time he's getting Twilight, Robo, and 2 probes at a time. So he was very indecisive, and he walks straight into Bio, three Marauders, and he kind of knows this isn't going to do anything. And I build Supply Depot here so he can't move up here without me seeing it. I scan the natural, I scan the main base, and I'm like, what the heck are you doing? I just want to kind of make sure he was going for a one base, and I really was expecting a one base push here. Now, I think I ended up... Okay, yeah, I remember what this was. And I think I did see that probe go down there, so I was kind of expecting that base. Yeah, so what I saw was he A-moved onto my supply depot here. Actually, no. Yeah, he did ultimately, but, or not. Yeah, so I put the tank here. He goes up here. And I basically want to box him in. I wait for these units to get a little closer. He does blink away, but this was the biggest problem. This is the biggest mistake he made this game. He moved commands over here, and then completely ignores his stalkers. This is something that happens in way too many leagues. Don't completely ignore your units. Don't pull them back. You're going to get chased. And as you can see, it's 40 army supply to 3. And he was making too many probes as well. Like, look at his bank. Like, he should have had like 6 gates. You know, he could have been doing something with that robo. He's banking up way too much here. And I just scan an A move, and he dies. Because he was just playing like a complete idiot this game. And of course, he's salty. He's like, and he actually messaged me afterwards as well, where he was like, "You're so bad, such a stupid playstyle, such a unique playstyle." And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's unique, but it ain't stupid, bro." So that was 5 wins in a row, my first 5 games on EU ladder, and it catapulted me to Diamond 3 Terran, which is the same spot that I'm at in NA. And I ended up playing a few more games. I'm currently 6-3. And multiple of those losses were actually because out of nowhere I keep facing a lot of Zergs that like to go mass muta, and I'm talking like 30, 40 mutas. I never faced that like at all for like 2 years up until now, and now it's happening in like 70, 80% of my TVZ games. So honestly, at this point, I might just start building blind turrets in TVZ if it's happening that much. Because if you don't have turrets against mutas, they will do a massive chunk of economic damage to you. And at the very least, keep the Terran put on their side of the map, which will win you the game quite easily in TVZ. So that'll be it for these replays. I've got to go sort some magic cards now, and I won't be uploading anything else for probably a few days, but I will be uploading multiple games, my last games of JSL this week. And as you guys know, I am out of contention for JSL, but I'm still willing to play a few games. I'm not like just going to walk out of it. So, hope to see you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon.